We rolled the dice and shipped Steve off to Mexico. Unfortunately, they returned them to us. So, let's get into it. Yeah. I think he's back to form. He fell off a little bit last year, but he also was named Ryder Cup captain. Give me Dean Ramsey! I guess I should let you guys back in. There we go.
I mean, you don't have to.
How's everybody doing this
show?
week?
Good. A little sunburned, but good.
Hey, I had to make the choice of missing again for a Pacer game or hanging out with you guys. So,
well, I would have taken the Pacer game.
I only get 7 seconds, so I couldn't tonight. I couldn't go tonight.
Yeah,
nice.
And hopefully, I don't have to go to a game 7.
No, you don't. You don't want that.
No, you don't want to do that. Nobody wants that.
I missed you guys last week. I didn't get to show off this guy.
Yeah, the RBC gnome.
The RBC gnome. So we got the Masters gnome over here, but we also got the RBC gnome now to join the show. So
now, is that new for RBC this year? I don't remember that from in the past.
I think they started it last year, and just like the Masters gnome, it sells out, but not as fast. And I don't think they update it each year. I think it's the same gnome pattern every year. So
yeah.
It's been something that I've gone to every year, so it's a fun little thing to have. So
now, being we missed you last week while you're at the Pacers game, looking at guys in hunting gear. Let's just get your take. Let's get your take really quick on RBC this year.
RBC every year is great. It had a great storyline this year. You had someone who just qualified. They were in the Access 10 or Aeon 10, but they were the 12th one actually because a few couldn't make it. So they got in and they were in a playoff to almost win the whole thing. And they're from South Carolina. Playoffs. Hey, I'm watching the playoffs right now, and the Pacers started off terribly, and the game is tied. So, spoiler alert. Hopefully, they can finish off the Bucks tonight. No hunting gear in the first row though tonight. Yeah. But the heritage was unbelievable. I had a fun week in Hilton Head before that, so just great times. And this week, just relaxing, and that's it. So, Dave, how was your week?
Had some events out at the winery. Been busy down there getting it. Everything's finally pruned. Greenery is starting to come out on the vines. Got some post up here this week on some things going on out there, but just getting ready for it's going to be bridal season here before we know it, and going to be busy. I'm coaching Will's baseball team this year, so a lot of practice, a lot of time in the hitting cage.
If I had a question for you about that, so and we'll get to ask Steve. You're going to be first round, so we're not going to ask you about your week. But Dave, I'm going to ask you about this. Since you're odds with Dave, are you going to give odds on the baseball games that week for you? I think you should do that on here, like Will's baseball games. You should give the odds for the week.
It's also funny because one of our favorite followers on here, Mr. Matt Donnelly, I have his son on the team as well too this year.
Nice.
So, no, there will be no odds on. It's not like the diaper dash on cruise line ships. I will not be putting odds on my son's baseball games.
Can Steve and I do odds with your little league?
I mean, I'm down.
Oh, Steve, here's what we'll do. We'll do picks. You and I will do picks. Dave can't because it's a Pete Rose situation. But
I was just going to say, if Dave does odds, is that a Pete Rose situation?
That's where I was going with this.
Because Dave is going to miss a lot of episodes because most of Will's games are on Tuesday.
Okay. So we can do it while he's not here. Or can you live broadcast from the game and we can call the play-by-play?
Can we give your wife the link and she can go live just so we can watch a little bit of the game.
Yeah.
Hey Steve, how was your weekend?
And better question, Greg, better question.
Yep.
Can we pay the umpire to throw Dave out?
I don't think we have to pay the umpire to do that.
Here's the thing. Pay the umpire either.
Dave getting thrown out, I think, would be very. Dave's not the kind of guy that's going to get all up in an umpire's face. He respects the game too much. You or I would have the better chance of getting thrown
now,
out.
Here's the thing: for Will's age group right now, it is kid pitch, but there are no walks. So if you get to ball 4, the coach comes in and pitches.
What if you hit the batter?
Then if the coach hits the batter, he doesn't hit the base.
Batter. If the coach hits the batter, that's a child abuse.
I'm just saying, if Dave comes in to pitch, he's hitting the batter. He's hitting somebody. I can see it now.
I do
Dave's
every year.
Him back off the plate.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely different and interesting. But both of you guys know my wife well enough that she's not going to do anything for the two of you. Greg, maybe. Steve, no.
I think if we're going to call Will's game fairly, that I think that it's there, and believe me, we will badmouth the coach while he's out there if he makes bad calls. So
yeah,
we don't know why he's putting in their designated relief pitcher. So
yeah.
All right. Well, Steve, we're not going to ask you about your weekend because that's going to be our first round topic because you did some fun stuff this weekend. So
I did, yeah.
Let's get into first round.
Ready to take your game to the next level? Desert Fox Golf's collegiate gear is growing fast, with over 25 universities and counting. Show off your favorite team on the course with the Phone Caddy and DJ10 speaker, built for easy access for every round. Perfect for students, alumni, and college sports fans looking to show off their school spirit. Gear up today at desertfoxgolf.com.
I want to give a shout out to, oh my God, Dave's Tower of Desert Fox. I
That
want to give
just
a shout.
improved the look of the podcast. I can tell you that.
Shout out to Jessica for helping put together that awesome commercial for Desert Fox. She's with Desert Fox, and that's just an amazing commercial. Thank you for your help. I was thinking today, Greg.
I like how my logo is just floating right above everything.
How as we roll into graduation season, this makes a great gift for every college grad.
No, I think it also makes a great gift for if you're going off to college and this is the university you're going to,
correct.
Making kind of that announcement of, hey, I'm taking my talents to state college.
And if you don't see your favorite college team on there, reach out to Desert Fox.
Yeah.
Let them know who you're looking for.
Don't forget to use the code Golfing Dads, all one word, for 15% off of your order.
Yeah. And I got the clip. I got everything. I got a whole bunch of these. I got too many of these. So
yeah.
So Steve, how was your week?
It was great.
I'm pissed.
Sit back and relax.
I'm pissed they let you back across the border.
I was surprised too. But I had a new
Trump
passport, so I think that let me back in.
No, I thought they would have seen your social media account and they would have been like, we're not letting this guy back in.
Yeah.
I don't blame you for that either.
Not that there's any politics on there. It's just that they would have been like, we don't want
toe taps on the with the 7-iron. So I spent the weekend. I left Thursday morning for Mexico. Spent it in Cancun, flew into Cancun from Orlando, which I didn't realize was an 1.5-hour flight. Like, it's a super easy flight from Orlando to Cancun. And Saturday I ended up playing golf and we were at Gran Coyote Golf Club, and it was a ton of fun. It was about a 30-minute cab ride down from the hotel we were staying at. Now, I will say this about Gran Coyote. One, their logo looks awfully familiar to the one on top of Dave's head. And two, they have the biggest scorecards in the planet. Like,
that looks like a wedding invitation.
It really does.
Yeah.
That's what I thought when Dave showed the one to us earlier today.
And they also, Dave, this is something that you and I have both seen. I felt like I was in Philadelphia here.
Yeah, it says golf, but not love.
It does say golf, but not love. So this is literally right behind the driving range, between the driving range and the chipping area. this golf course, it's a Nick Price design, par 71. And one of the cool things they did in that par 71 was they didn't take away from the par 5s. So there's 5 par 3s on this golf course. And every one of them is awesome. Great sets of par 3s with some different features on them. And you just get up, and 3 of them have water on them. One of them I played it 1 up. Flag was front, and it played 177 into the wind. It was a beast of a hole playing into the breeze. And you're so close to the ocean there that you get a lot of that ocean breeze all day. So it's just a steady, constant, heavy breeze. So this is behind the third. What was that?
Put your readers on, Steve.
No, it was behind. That's behind
just
6th
remember.
green. That's behind 6th green. There's water down the right-hand side. This bunker's this green's got a ton of slope from front to back. There's a huge slope right in the ridge right in the middle there. This is 5. This is the 5th hole. And it's a really cool par 3 heading straight towards the ocean, so it plays into the fan. That water there is crystal clear blue, so you can see everybody that rents golf balls in there. It's great. This is 8. And then 9 was the longest hole on the golf course from a par 4 perspective. It played 445 into the wind and was just a great hole. This is behind from next to the 8th green, and you see this little like branca here, little cutout. There were animals all over the place. I will say this, my goal, and I was hoping to see a monkey on the golf course because he wants bananas, Dave, right? We didn't see any monkeys in the golf course.
So for those of you out there listening in podcast world, Steve's going through a slideshow right now showing some of the holes he played down there at Coyote.
Hey, when your friends come back from vacation and show you a slideshow of their vacation? That's what Steve's doing right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is us standing in line at Disney. This is the rental car.
This is when Steve lost it at the airport and argued with the TSA agent. This is Steve getting arrested.
Into 8, into 10 right here. When I started on 10, this was my first hole. It was a dog leg left, little gentle dog leg left, and just a good hole. Nothing crazy. There were bunkers on the left-hand side, so you took it on the right-hand side to kind of open up the green. This is behind 11 green, and then 12 going down that way. 12 was a unique hole. It was a short par 4. It was like 3 1/4, played into the wind, and you just hit a drive out there on the green surrounded by bunkers, and you had to hit a good shot in there. So it was a good short hole. This is 17. 17 was a great par 3, played 150 yards downwind. And then this is a view of the clubhouse behind the 18th green.
That's a nice logo. Good
Yeah.
play on words there.
Yeah, correct. One of the cool things that they did there, which I thought was unique, we got to the turn and they had a drink stand at the turn, and my wife rode along with me, so she had to put up with watching me play golf.
We know what that's like.
We know what that feels like.
And went and grabbed a drink, and instead of paying for it, what they do is they open up a tab to your golf cart number, and then you just on the way out go through the clubhouse and pay your tab on the golf cart number. So there was kind of a nice
cool
little
concept.
Yeah, a cool concept.
Dangerous concept
because you don't know what they're charging you for anything.
Well, I'll use a perfect example of that. When we were playing, Steve, when you and I were playing at I forget where it was, when we were in Florida for the PGA show, we were at a course, and the cart girl comes around, and I wanted to get us transfusions. And I said, "Oh, do you take credit cards?" She goes, "Oh, yeah." And I'm like, "Oh, perfect." So then the credit card machine was down, and I didn't have cash. So it solves that problem perfectly.
Yep.
Which I think more courses should do that.
Yeah. I think that that was a cool little concept. You just walked through, paid it on the way out, and kept going. The golf course was in great shape. There were a couple spots in the fairways that they were trying to do some work on. Obviously, we've had some struggles here in Florida with temperature, so I'm sure winter overseed hasn't been nice to a lot of them as well. So I mean, it's a great place to play if you're down there. I know there's, Mayakoba obviously gets a lot of the rep because of where it is, and they've hosted PGA and live events at Mayakoba, but Gran Coyote was well worth it. Cool experience. I will say I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt because I didn't buy it. They did, and it was all white. It would have been great to wear on the podcast, but I would have never worn it anywhere else. And it was a sugar skull with a sombrero on it, and I didn't buy it.
Oh, nice.
It didn't have the golf course logo on it, but if it said the golf course name on the back, I probably would have bought it. But it was a really cool logo with the sugar skull with the sombrero on it. I almost bought it just to wear on the podcast because it was like bright white. But no, I mean, the golf course itself, the people there couldn't have been nicer. I did wear the new Squares Pro, the Pro 2 shoes, and they are unbelievably comfortable and arguably the best looking golf shoe now of 2025. I think they're incredible. So the team at Squares did an amazing job with those shoes.
So, Steve, what was your favorite thing about the golf course? So you talked about a bunch of things there, but what was your favorite thing that they offered there, or that you saw there?
The experience from start to finish, especially with the coolness of the cart girl and being able to order drinks and just going on your tab, and the ease of that is something that I think a lot of courses should look into. I think it's difficult because here where you finished, you had to walk through the clubhouse, so it made it an easy process to do that. Other courses don't have that luxury where you finish a bag drop and you just kind of can get in your car and go. But I think the experience for everybody from when we got there couldn't have been more welcoming. And the golf course itself was, it was a fun layout. I think no matter the skill level of any golfer, you could have fun on this golf course and enjoy your round of golf.
So a lot of people think like Cancun is, spring break party destination. Is this a good, weekend getaway for a guy's trip to go down and play golf?
I think it's a good guy's trip getaway. I will say non-golf related, coming back to the resort that day, there may or may not have been, and I understand it's from a safety standpoint, and we've all worked in hotels, so we understand this. 3 armed military guys with M16s doing security checkpoint at every resort that day. And so you kind of start to wonder, and you can look at it both ways. You know what? Maybe they were being safer for everybody, which I can appreciate. Just when you're not used to that, because we don't have things like that here in America. It's a little different of a feeling. So, but I will say that I think the golf course, if you're down there, trying to play some golf, trying to have some fun, we were at an all-inclusive resort, had a blast at the all-inclusive resort, just kind of enjoyed our time there. I did find one of the bartenders made smoked old fashions while we were there. So the last night was definitely a smoked old fashioned night.
Now, is this a golf course that you could play, I don't know, say games with your playing group out there on the course?
This is a great segue, Dave. Wow, the king of segues. Yes, it's a golf course you can play games on. So let's jump into games at that. So just over a month ago, friend of the show, been on our show before, Ben Kassman, Ben, world long driver, now a assistant professional at the Ritz-Carlton in Mia Island, former Champions Tour stop, posted a video with Sam Aberson, and they were using this game called T-Box Dice. And so I was like, what is this that you speak of? So I went and found them. Got some, ordered some, and I reached out to RJ and said, we want you to come on the show because this is kind of a cool thing. So without further ado, let's talk about some dice. RJ, how are you, buddy?
Good, Steve. I wanted to show you something I got at Mayakoba. This is a putter.
Ooh.
So it's funny you brought up the sugar skull.
The sugar skull, yeah. And it's funny. It was an all white one, and it was a sugar skull like that with a yellow sombrero. And I was like,
Yeah.
man, that would be fun for the podcast.
Yeah.
But I was like, I can't justify it not without the logo on it. Like, I kind of want the golf course logo on it. So
Yeah,
I
got
think
the
it
putter cover and the
Steven on
the
the
driver
sombrero.
cover.
I'm just saying that much.
I did put a sombrero on, and my wife told me to take it off very quickly.
Your
she
wife's
was
a smart person.
Correct. We all know that.
It's a hat. I mean, you're just wearing it unless you're going around.
You need the tiny sombrero, Steve. The tiny sombrero.
Tiny one.
RJ fits in already. He knows how to hand.
Yeah. Fat man in a tiny car.
Exactly.
Wow. So RJ, let's move on now to what we're here to talk about tonight.
Okay.
And let's talk about some T-Box dice. So you started T-Box dice. What and why did you start T-Box dice?
So I have the same weekend group of guys, golfing group we're just a train wreck, and we love to play different types of games. And we got tired of Wolf, we got tired of Skins, we got tired of all sorts of games. And so I was hanging out with my son, who's a graduate of Ole Miss, and he's an engineering major. And I was telling him about, like, there are 4 major tee boxes on every hole, and each of those holes have different colors. And so I was trying to explain to him, I wanted to invent this game that would keep the game fun and yet allow different levels of golfers to play. So I went on to Etsy, the good old hobby website, Etsy, and I did a prototype. And this is what the prototype looked like. So obviously it's a lot smaller. And with my marketing background, I wanted something to look as large as a golf ball, and the design of the packaging to be like a sleeve of golf balls. And so that's where the whole thought came from in terms of the design of T-Box dice. So there are 4 T-Boxes. Standard is the pros are the blacks, the reds are the ladies, the forwards are the whites, and the men's are the blues. So using those 4 color schemes, I created the die, which is now what's in front of me.
I do have to tell you that one of the things that we did with them, and I've gotten to use these, we ended up, and you talk about the size of the golf ball, they ended up in the golf ball holder in the cart. And every hole we got up and threw them out. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. But yeah, they definitely are a great size for that. So you don't have to worry about losing them or anything like that.
Thank you. Yeah, that was part of the design. And what we thought, having my son who's a mechanical engineer and my marketing background, is I told him, well, wait a minute. Okay, this is a great idea. Let's get the trademark. Let's get the patent. Let's register the name. And more importantly is there are different levels of skill in the game, of course. And what I'm trying to do is to keep the game simple and fun, which is the most important thing. We got to have fun while we're out in the golf course. So I designed the pattern as well as the color scheme on each different dice. So I have 3 different dice combinations. If that makes any sense, I have a ladies die set, which is going to show the colors of red 3 different times. So 50% of the time, there's a chance of landing on red for the ladies. There's only 1 out of 6 chances to get a black or a blue or a white. That stands for a white with the L. And the reason why I have to have the L is because I can't use women's, because an upside down W is a men's dice. So the L is the ladies' dice. It doesn't have to be assigned to the ladies, because trust me, as many rounds as I played so far, the women are kicking my ass and I'm having to use these, and they're using the pro or the men's. So I'm just an everyday golfer having a good time.
So RJ, can you explain a little bit to us? You talked about how, like, you came up with the idea of this, your marketing. How do you play the game?
So it's really simple. Greg, you decide which set you're going to do. I usually encourage people to get the variety set, the 3-pack, because that way it applies to just about everybody in the group. And so I'm going to just use the men's die, which has 2 blues, 2 whites, 1 black, and 1 red. So at the start of every hole, You take the die, you decide if you're going to throw for yourself or have your opponent throw for you. Toss the die. What it lands on, that color that pops up on the top, is the spot where you start off from. So you basically decide at the start of every hole where you're going to start your golf game. Repeat 18 times.
Okay. And then
So-
Oh, go ahead, Dave.
So RJ, is this, did you just recruit some Dungeon and Dragons, dungeon masters to try and help you out with the dice here, or?
So my son being a mechanical engineer, he worked on the whole die casting, and we recruited some dice makers. And believe me, there's a lot of different types of dice, as well as the type of plastics used to make this. So we came across a couple companies that really were invested in the idea with us, and this is what we came up with. It's a hard plastic. It's I'm not going to say it's bulletproof, but you definitely can toss it on just about anything. It won't crack or won't split, and it's got rounded edges, so it's able to land on a spot upright as long as you're throwing it onto a tee box. So don't make it a habit of throwing it on the cart path, because it will scuff up pretty quickly.
I have to tell you, with the one side red, I'm going to reference a movie here that I know the three of us are familiar with. I felt like Watto in Star Wars Episode 1, and when they played the dice in the game of chance with Obi-Wan Kenobi, or with Qui-Gon rather. I felt like that's what we were rooting for when you were wanting to play the forward tees. I felt like Qui-Gon trying to get the red side.
So
That's so true, because you still got to make the shot, Steve. Even if Greg throws a red, and Greg's got to throw a red for himself, and Greg's still got to make the shot. So that's where the game really gets fun, because when you have a foursome get together, whether you choose to team up on golf carts and have one cart against the other, or individually play, it just adds the level of excitement and fun. Like my latest video, I said it's the new Viagra Blue Chew, T-box dice. It adds that level of excitement, because, even though if I'm in your group, Steve, and I'm throwing for you, I may not want to throw you a black. I may want to throw you a red, because sometimes a long hitter has a tough time adjusting to shorter distances.
It's funny. We played it.
Sorry, I don't have any problem adjusting. I'm just bad.
What we decided to do, there were three of us playing together, and we were playing a course that we play quite a bit at. And we were like, you know what? Let's do it every hole. We each roll, and whatever we roll, that's where we're playing from. And when you're used to playing this golf course, and we play out there quite a bit, it actually, I thought that it gave us a little different perspective when you got to the hole, because you were like, okay, what's next? How are we going to play this? How are we going to do that? And it made it more fun when you're used to playing the same golf course over and over and over again. So, it's one of those things. It just added a different level of excitement into what is a normal, just go out and bang it round of golf. Is that how you would suggest using it, or? Yeah,
you brought up Ben. Ben's a good guy. And I met Ben at the PGA show. And if I was playing around with Ben, I wouldn't necessarily throw in the pro die, because the pro die has 3 blacks, 1 red, 1 blue, 1 white.
Yeah,
I would throw him the ladies die, because that's going to throw his whole game off. If there's a 50% chance he's going to be a red, he's going to really have to adjust to his distance. And I'm not doubting that Ben's going to adjust, but I'm just saying I would not throw the pro die Ben's way, just because he's such a big hitter.
He hits it a long way. We all know it. Like, he was in Mesquite a couple weeks ago, obviously competing, and he competes on that long drive circuit. But yeah, I don't know. I want Ben back as far as I can have him if I'm playing in a match against him. I don't hit it that far. So
yeah, when I'm with my crew, we take out the 3-pack, and I have no problem tossing the ladies die on my behalf, just because I know, and I did a couple of videos. I just went on a losing streak of throwing myself blacks 3 times in a row, holding the lady die. And I was playing from the longest distance, which I'm not a long hitter, and having to struggle just to make par from the distance in my club.
So you say you have the 3-pack. How many are there? Different packs of the sets? Do they have to come in the multi-pack, or can you get different packs and options?
Great question, Dave. So I have a ladies pack. It comes with 2 die in this pack. I have a men's die set, which is 2 die for the men's set. And then I have the pro set, which is the pro die. So each of them have different color combinations. The black has the 3 black sides, 1 blue, 1 red, 1 white. The men's side is pretty balanced. It has 2 blues, 2 whites, 1 black and 1 red. And then the ladies' side, similar to the pattern of the pro, it just has 3 reds, 1 white, 1 blue, 1 black. And then the pro pack is basically giving you one of each die, which you just spread it out amongst your group. And again, they all work really well. I probably sell the 3-pack, not 2 to 1, but probably for every 3 orders, it's definitely going to be one of the 3 that's getting ordered, just because people like to have the variety for different reasons. Like, for example, when I go out on the golf course, I want to just do an impromptu video, and I walk up, I hold the 3-pack, and I say, "Hey, do you want to play a new game that you've never played before that's going to make it fun and exciting?" And they're like, "Sure." And whether it's men or women, I just hand them the die, I explain the game, they grab the die, and we go. And it's, whether we play 9 holes or 18 holes, I think the impromptu, it adds the excitement just to the game, because the chance involved with rolling the dice. There's a chance you're going to make it, and there's going to chance that you're not going to make it, but it adds to the fun of the game, and it's kind of like a match play from then on.
So I have the men's set and the pros. I have the men's set and the pro set, and I think, hey, Dave and Greg, next time you're down, Greg, you and I are going to roll the men's set. We're going to make Dave roll the pro set.
Yeah, I think
so.
That's true.
RG, as a follow up to that, we have a segment here called Odds with Dave. I may, like to gamble a little bit. You need to have an app with this, so it tracks it like a roulette wheel, so you can see what's been thrown without the whole thing, and you can put odds on. Hey, it's 3 to 1. He's going to come up red or come up black, and have it track like a roulette wheel at Vegas.
I would love that, Dave, because I'll tell you, I was out with my weekend crew, and I was so stoked to have the lady die. And I'm telling you, Dave, first 3 holes, black, black, black. And I'm like literally walking back to the furthest point in the first 3 holes of my club. And I'm like, this sucks. I was hoping to get like red, red, red. There was a 50% chance, but either way, it was a great time, and I had a good time.
So speaking of new games and different things that you can do with these, you posted recently something that you did with the beverage cart with the die. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think that's something the Tavern can really get behind.
So,
there we go.
Yes. So out of these buddy weekend golf crew games, we came up with a drinking game behind the dice. And with the relationship I have with my club, I came up with these signs, and they're magnetized, and I had our cart girl put them on the cart. And so basically she had a set of die, which, she had the 3-pack, and she would basically ask the guys as they were coming in to make the turn, she goes, "Hey, do you want to get lucky?" And of course that got everyone's attention. And she said, "No, I mean your drink. Do you want to take a chance on your drink?" So basically she would ask the golfers, "Do you prefer a shot, wine, seltzer, beer, or do you want the cart girl's cocktail choice?" And it really caught on. In fact, it was one of the things that was most requested at the golf course that day, was like, "Hey, I want to roll the dice and figure out if I can, roll a shot." So it really took off. And the good news is we have launched an affiliate program, and I'm going through TikTok, I'm going through Instagram, and I'm reaching out to different beverage cart girls. And with that affiliate program, these ladies can have the sign and a set of dice and a roller, which is a koozie. And they basically roll the die and play a little tee box roulette with these golfers that want them to decide what they're going to drink on that round.
I think we need to get you some Golfing Dots Tavern koozies to send out with these, because I think that would just make the day. I mean, if they're going to the beverage cart, I mean, I feel like it's a great idea. So
thank you.
So what's your favorite way to get out on the course and use them? We talked about this, you're using them at your local, would you take these and, are you going to play, would you use them on like a course that's a once in a lifetime course, or are you going to like keep them to yourself at the course with you and your buddies?
It applies to both. I mean, I'm going to say I recently came back from Bandon Dunes, and I shared them with my caddy, and I ended up playing the next day with my caddy, and we played the entire 18 holes on Old McDonald, and we had a great time. And that was a good, but I wouldn't take away from the point of this. T-Box Dice is really meant for the weekend golf crew that wants to have a little variety from just, they want drinking games. They want a little they want to socialize. They want a little challenge. They're just tired of the same old golf games, such as, Skins and Wolf. They want to play something different. And this kind of makes an equalizer when there's a little chance involved. And that's where T-Box Dice. So I guess the everyday weekend golfer that likes to go to the local muni or their local club, or even I would say that I recently sponsored a local country club here in San Diego that they had a ladies event, and the ladies event was all 30 carts had a box of T-Box Dice, and the club sponsored a social event. And so they did an afternoon round. It was co-sponsored by T-Box Dice, and the club appreciated it because they got to fill up their social calendars. So I guess the answer to your question is it helps country clubs create some content for their social calendar of golf events. It helps the everyday weekend golfer for a variety of things to do and play. And also it could be taken anywhere, to be honest with you. Take it on vacations, So I do really look at the fact that, I'm an average golfer. I like to play games, with all levels of golf skill. So I'm not afraid to go against the big hitters. I'm having just as much fun. It just adds that middle ground where the, low handicap, high handicap can both meet in the middle and have some fun.
That's great. I mean,
and men and women, it's not even there is no difference between that, because I'll tell you, the ladies at my club kick my butt and we have a great time playing this game because it's an equalizer.
I just love that you can play a course all the time, and this keeps it kind of fresh, like you said, where I play the same tee box all the time. Sometimes you move up and down, but now it's a hole-to-hole variation that you can put into this, and we're going to have some loaded dice for Dave that are going to just keep him at the back tees. So
yes,
the ball goes into the woods the same amount of distance. It really doesn't matter.
That's right.
Oh, awesome. RJ, when you sat down with the pro or the ladies and you came up with I'm going to use weighting them, but having them with more sides, what made you go that route versus like the men's dice?
It was actually that I brought all sets of dice to the pro, and he was really, when he took a look at the product and he saw what it does, I mean, his words were, I want to create a social event. I don't want I want it to be more of a social event than a golf tournament. And so his suggestion was to keep it all one level. And when I gave him a discount on the purchase of the sets of dice, and I was there to participate and just drive around the carts, and everyone loved it. In fact, the women are more competitive playing this game than the men are, to be honest with you.
that is true sometimes.
It's what I watched. It's what I saw.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, RJ, if someone is looking to get in the game with T-Box Dice, where do they need to go? Where can they find you?
Thanks, Greg. Anyone can find us on social media at T-Box Dice, and my website is tboxdice.com. Enter the promo code DICE. That's DICE for free shipping. And we had that promotion going on. We also have a Mother's Day promotion coming on in a week. So go online, tboxdice.com.
Awesome.
They fit great in the golf bag. I'm going to plug this really quickly. They make a great stocking stuffer come the holiday season too. So they are.
We do have a Father's Day special.
I was going to say good
We
Father's
do
Day.
have a Father's Day special coming up. Yes, we do. So
I want to hear
yes.
Dave's odds. I really want to know what Dave comes up with these different combinations and what the possibility of throwing, because I want to know how I came up with 3 blacks in a row, Dave. So please help me.
Yeah, once I get my hands on some dice here and I can get out, I haven't been able. I live in the Midwest. I'm in Southeast Iowa. I haven't been able to get out on the course yet this year. I will be getting myself a set here to use on my my local 9, and I'll let you know. I'll get some odds posted up to you
That'd be great.
on rolls here coming up.
Yeah, each of the set of dice also come with it's literally a size of a playing card. It gives pace of play ideas as well as a drinking game is on the back of it. So in every set that they purchase, they get the rules, how to play, how to control speed of play, as well as a drinking game. So it's a great gift idea, like you said, Steve and Greg. Father's Day, absolutely.
Oh, 100%. That's a great idea. So, RJ, thank you again.
Thanks, RJ.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Appreciate you.
Cheers.
So, I mean, those are a fun way to kind of change up your everyday game. If you're playing once a week and you're playing the same old game, or you're playing, like he said, that Wolf and different things, this you can add to Wolf, to be honest with you. You can add this to any game you're playing, and it just adds a whole new angle to it. And like you said, Steve, it gives you a whole different perspective of the course. So you can play a completely different course than what you're used to playing on your same Muni course that you play every week.
Yep, exactly.
It looks like we may have some new odds with Dave numbers coming out here with T-Box dice.
Hey, Dave, I loved your idea of kind of having that roulette wheel type thing with it, where it's like, oh, you can kind of bet on, you can have side bets. You can do so much with these die. I think it has so many opportunities.
It's the biggest cheat thing in Vegas when you see the roulette wheel that it's spun black, 6 times in a row, and like, oh, it's got to hit red. Well, the roulette wheel doesn't know, and neither do the dice, but that doesn't take away the fact that I'd still lay 3-1 on it.
You never.
No.
Never. All right. Well, we go from this to smacks, and this smack of the week is a literal smack.
So I normally have my mindset ball to hold up here, but my son has started to steal my mindset balls because he likes them now when he's putting. So I'm telling you,
I ain't mad at him.
Balls. No, I'm not either.
Hey, I may have gotten out and rolled a couple mindsets today out on the putting green.
Hey, I saw it. I like that. That's you got to get that work in.
All right, so you may have seen this one already. There's a 2 minute and 12 second version out there on social media. This is a much shorter version.
You can step in, Justin. You can.
I love the wife telling your husband to step in. Also, they forgot this is Canada and they're not playing hockey.
This is crazy. This is crazy, hun.
You're crazy. Okay. Cops are going in. No. Stop it!
So the one thing that I never got from seeing this video before was who started what, who was hitting into who, besides the punches.
Right.
I saw
it was
that.
all over slow play. Now, here's my problem. It was a Tuesday night golf league, and we've all played in golf league.
On Tuesday nights.
It's the same thing I used to say about the softball leagues. It's a cast softball league, buddy. Calm down.
This is beer league softball.
Yeah, I don't care what division you're in.
Yeah.
So we all knew that had to make an appearance at some point on Smack of the Week, though.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100% that had to make an appearance. So,
all right, let's get into last call.
We talking NOLA?
NOLA.
I mean,
NOLA.
Well,
team event. You got to talk team event.
Well, before we talk team event, before we jump into odds with Dave here, Greg, you're back on the track again.
Okay, first off, they were at 11 under, and then the next day they forgot how to play golf. Like, what the heck happened there? Like, all they had to do was shoot even par to make the cut.
Yeah.
Because everyone was close at the cut. Like, it wasn't like anyone ran away with it at that point.
It really wasn't. So
what the heck happened?
But I tell you what, NOLA, this event, I think the PGA Tour needs to do more of these. Not many more, like maybe 1 or 2 more, like have 2 or 3 a year. I think it's a fantastic event. Steve and I talked about this last week, that it should be a mandatory event for if you want to play in the Ryder Cup or the President's Cup. And
Speaking of which, by the way, did
Snedeker,
we see, as you said, President's Cup, did you see the announcement today that Brant Snedeker was named President's Cup captain for next year?
And Ogilvy, yes.
Yes.
So, but I think playing in this should be a requirement, so you learn how to play these types of events better. And that's just my soapbox.
I don't know that that's so much the case, because this is, like you said, it's only one that's out there, and you're not pairing up with people that might be from. You might be paired with your friend who plays for the European team. So I think, like you said, Dave, there needs to be 2 more of these events throughout the season. I would like to see it. I don't want to see team golf across the board, but I like seeing it every now and then.
I don't think it, even if you're paired up with, say Rory and Scotty played together, it's about learning how to play with somebody else in a different ball than you're used. Say Scotty gets to choose the ball.
Interesting thought here, by the way, as you talk about that. Typically, that is done by the higher ranked player. World Golf ranking point gets to pick the ball. Yes. The winning team, Griffin and Novak, played the max fly ball in alternate shot.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now that was Griffin's choice. Yeah, and Novak ended up playing it himself as well too.
Now let's talk about the max fly ball. I'm going to guarantee you that you can't get a bucket of max fly balls on the range at a tour event.
Why? I mean, Max Fly just started to come out with. Didn't they get Lexi? Wasn't Lexi signed with Max Fly?
Lexi signed with them.
Yeah. So like they're starting. Max Fly had a name, kind of fell off for a while, and I think they're getting really back into that.
You know who owns them, right?
Tour golf game.
You know who owns them, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean that's what I'm saying. But they're trying to bring them back into that tour light where they were just that. I'm going to say it. They were the Walmart brand.
They were the top flight. They were the Dick's Sporting Goods brand. Is what they were.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally, because Dick's owns them. So
I may have played the noodle for a long time.
Yeah, and there was nothing wrong
because it's a noodle
ball. It was a great ball for people, and especially for like younger players that were just getting into the game. They have a great ball, but now they're trying to get back in, and they've been slowly doing it over the past few years. Yeah. They've just now kind of broken that ceiling. So.
But again, the event. I think the course played well even after a little bit of rain and weather delays. Going on there. There were some shot choices there coming down the last few holes, especially on the par 3 where they both bounced it right next to the water. And how do you go that far left? On that
I can tell you how you go that far left on that hole because I've played it. It's hard as crap.
Oh, that's a drink.
That is a drink. That hole is hard as can be, especially from the back tee box. Yeah. And all you're literally staring at is water everywhere. There's a bailout area way right, but there they have the grandstand and everything else. That hole is hard as can be. And it's like 210 from back there. It's not a fun hole.
Yeah, but outside of that, the cut, it hurt a lot of people that played really good golf, but just everybody, like in cooking competitions, sometimes you go home for a great dish. And a lot of those guys out there in team golf played some really good golf. It's just some people played a lot better.
Did you just compare golf to a cooking competition?
He did. I was going to let it go, but you went there.
No, I'm not letting that go. That's but no,
Gordon Ramsay, like who's Gordon Ramsay of golf? Like, what are we doing here? No, that golf course is awesome. It's a fun golf course to play. There's some really hard holes on that golf course. There's some fun holes on that golf course. There's a lot of alligators on that golf course. That is the one thing I can say about that golf course.
They showed a lot of that. Or they always do for that event. But I mean, now we're on to Texas for the Mr. Nelson
Byron Nelson
tournament.
CJ Cup.
So let's get into some odds.
the Nikon rangefinder, the official rangefinder of the Golfing Dad Standard Tavern, and the LPGA Tour.
It is a amazing rangefinder out there. like I'm
Amazing.
telling you.
Dave, you haven't gotten to use yours yet, have you?
No.
The stability
Still in a
that it
box.
has and the pin, basically the
The
pin
locking-
tracking, like locking
Yeah.
is unbelievable. Like,
Yeah.
So coming into the Byron Nelson, I'll soapbox here again. I think everybody should show up for this just because it's, the Byron Nelson event. But
It's in
that's,
it's in a crappy time slot on the PGA Tour.
I
Like,
know, but it's like trying to show up
crappy
for
time
Jack's
slot.
event or, lo and behold, Scotty's leading the way, just a little bit over 2.5 to 1. Then we have a big drop off. Jordan at 18 to 1. Jordan, I believe, a past winner
Yes.
here at this tournament.
And he played as an
Sungjae-
amateur in this event.
Yes, he did. Sungjae Im at 22. Byung Young
Ben
at
on.
25. I know, Ben on. Taylor Pendrith at 30. Siwoo at 30. Sam Burns at 30. Ben Griffith coming off his now PGA Tour win at 35. Yager at 40. One of the twins at 45. Mackenzie Hughes at 45. Zalatoris at 45. Tom Kim down there at 55 to 1. So yeah,
Home game.
home game.
Home game.
Greg, you missed the cut.
Cute.
Greg takes Scotty.
yeah, I'm not even gonna say it. That's who I'm taking. That's 100% who I'm taking this week. So,
Steve,
I need to get back.
you
on
had
that.
the-
I'm torn. I've got two guys that I'm looking at.
You probably have the same two that I'm looking at. Whichever one you don't take, I am.
Did I caddy in one of their groups this year in your group, in your picks?
Because you finished just outside the top 30. So you only got 1 point.
I know.
So
I
that
know.
brings our grand total. Greg's at 58. You're at 109, and I'm at 137 because I backdoored the top 15.
Would nice job, Rory.
Would that Shane Lowry birdie on 18?
I'm gonna go Jordan.
Ah, damn it. Didn't think you were going to do it.
I did. My other choice was Siwoo.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Take.
I'm gonna go
Woodland.
back to back. I'm gonna go back to back weeks here.
You can. It's
I'm
a new
going Ben
month for
Griffith.
this one.
Yep, but I'm going back to back.
taking-
I'm going Ben Griffith this
Ben
week.
Griffin. Ooh,
Yep.
I like it.
I thought you were going back to back with who you were going to pick, but also actually I don't think either. of
No,
them are gonna-
neither of them are playing this
No,
week.
Yeah, neither were playing this week. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just looking
Um,
for Jordan, honestly, to get a top 10 is what I'm looking at.
yeah.
I'm looking for
there's
Scotty to
some
get his
other
first win of
picks.
the season.
Yeah,
So, both
there's some other
strategy, I
picks
like
a
it.
little bit
And
farther
mine.
down, but I think Ben's got some momentum going here, and I think it'll be nice.
Nice.
All right. Well, with that, thank you to RJ for
Yes, thank you,
being on the
RJ.
show tonight, and cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Really fortunate.